We are in West Branch Community Hall, and with me we have Charlie Kennedy.
Hello.
James McKenzie.
Hello.
And Gary Johnson. These guys are going to tell us a little bit about the hall history, and yeah. So when did this place become into existence?
It was built in 1932, but the first event was in 1933. And they built the hall, I think it cost them $400 to build the hall at that time.
Oh my gosh. So when they built the community hall, was it meant to be what sort of, do you know what sort of things they would have done in the beginning?
Dances, for sure. Yeah. Anything else?
Card parties. Card parties and suppers.
Oh yes, lots of card parties over the years.
And gatherings. People have weddings, receptions and whatnot here.
Oh wow, that would be neat. And then didn't somebody tell me that it was a school for a little while?
Yes, it was in around the early 50s, I think, Jim, was it? 54?
Yeah, around the early 50s.
Yeah.
Okay.
The schoolhouse burnt down here at the West Branch.
Okay.
And in the meantime, while they're building it, they took and they had a school here. Yeah. At that time, the schools were, like, they had a school at West Branch, and there's another in East Branch, which is only about, 3 miles from here. But there were schools in every community at that time.
This is the second hall, isn't it? This one here wasn't the first hall on top of the school, was it?
The first hall was on top of the school, the original school that burnt.
That burnt.
Oh, yes.
But that was long after they built this.
Every Saturday night was a dance, and every Saturday night was a fight. So most people came to dance a little bit or watch the fight. That's when I was a kid, when I was growing up.
Okay. So was there like fights between different communities or just like
Yes.
just fights?
Yeah,
Okay. Just
always a community thing.
yeah.
I don't think there was too many people in West Branch fought too much at that time, but in my era. But prior to that, I don't think there was quite a few that used to fight from West Branch. Yeah, it was a community. It was kind of a pastime at that time.
Oh, wow. I bet there's some amazing music that came out of these walls.
Yeah, still is.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's that, yeah, so before everything's shut down, we're not doing hardly anything. What sort of things were happening in this place?
Well, every spring they have what's called a pancake festival or pancake supper.
Oh, wow.
And so the tables would be all set up in here and musicians hired on.
Okay.
And it would go for most of the day on a Saturday in usually April.
Oh, wow. Pancakes all day. That's pretty good.
Right. So that's the reason that pastor was there for suppers like that. And then in the fall there's a harvest supper.
Okay.
This year it was takeout.
Yeah, because of COVID.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's still lots of music that happened, or was happening, wasn't there?
Well, every Wednesday night, I haven't been to them. You guys have been to them, haven't you? On
What,
Wednesday, the music on Wednesday nights here?
Oh yes, I've been here. Yeah, and actually they played. Jen played here one night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, we came up, well, John Crichton, our neighbor,
Yeah.
played here and invited us, and we sure, we'll go down. It was lots of fun.
Then there was old-time dances here, like up until the COVID struck. Every month, once a month, was an old-time dance here, which people would come from all around, like all the towns over Torway and
Is that
Brookfield,
right?
and yeah, and most of them were in there anywhere from, well, the youngest probably be 65, but there was quite a few in their 90s that come and dance the whole night.
Gosh.
Yeah, it was really interesting. Like,
So they have live music for those dances then?
oh yeah,
Is
yeah,
that right?
yeah.
Isn't that
And a
right?
caller.
And what?
A caller. To call the steps.
Of course, a collar. Yes, I didn't even think.
I don't-
Old time.
I don't
old time.
dance that, but I would serve tea and sometimes you would take tickets and this and that and the other thing. Came at 10:30 or 11, I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
And the
Wow.
90-year-olds are just, they're all
They're still
fired
there.
up.
Still going, yes.
Oh, yeah, that's literally.
And so that was still happening like sort of before COVID, those sorts of
Just
things?
right up to the code.
Right up to COVID, yeah.
Fantastic.
For when can get them going.
Well, Ken, I don't know, for 10 years, I think.
About 10
Yeah.
years,
And then he passed away last year, but
Yeah.
it continued on after he passed away as well,
Yeah.
which worked out good.
That's
The
incredible.
caller just passed away.
Oh,
The guy who used to do all the calling at the dance, he just
Yeah,
passed away a week ago.
Jim was his name, wasn't
I can't recall now.
he? Big fella.
Wow. Well, hopefully somebody else knows how to call dances after
Oh, I'm
COVID.
sure.
Yeah.
The hall is also used as a comfort center now as well.
Oh,
There's a-
interesting.
Propane generator that's here to power the hall. Also, if there's any, electrical shutdown, that it's here set up for that thing, or as a comfort center.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that could have easily, like with the hurricane last year, I wonder if.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
open,
Was it? Okay.
but it was a little slow in getting open, but that was happening with a lot of people, a lot of places, because they weren't used to doing it, so
Yeah.
it took a while.
The stove was right where Gary was sitting,
Oh,
used to be there.
okay.
And then, of
that
course,
makes
the pipe went
sense.
up the wall, across the ceiling, and in to the center of the hall, right above the plaque.
You mentioned you too.
Jim, when was the piece built on here, like the kitchen and the bathroom and all that? When was that built on?
Early 90s, 92?
92, yeah.
Good.
1992, yeah.
Yeah, 1992, yeah.
So previous to that, it would just be this piece?
That was the kitchen back there.
Oh, okay.
But that was also built on after, right? After
Right.
the spot was built.
Could have been, I'm not sure.
No, I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
Now it's a furnace room, storeroom.
Okay.
What about all this wood? Did that come locally or is it?
No, it's Douglas fir,
Douglas
which was
fir?
popular in the 1920s.
Okay.
See it a lot of houses.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Beautiful wood room. I bet the acoustics are amazing.
Yeah.
It was, prior to 92, it was, the windows were boarded over because of vandalism.
Oh.
And the hall was disused for many years, couple decades, I guess. And Steve Harder got a bunch of grants to put on the kitchen. So that whole kitchen and entry and washrooms in the back were all done in the early 90s by volunteers.
Oh, fantastic. Wow. And so then,
Cost a lot more than $400.
wow.
And
That's
so we
amazing.
worked at it. The whole community worked at it.
So it sort of came back to life then.
Yes.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
So it was just used for that's amazing.
My own interest, and I think there's others, where we wanted someplace for the kids to go.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was ever realistic or worked out, but that was what the motivation was. Rather than just hang out on the bridge.
Yeah.
And recently it's been insulated, hasn't it?
No,
Just the
sure,
ceiling.
The ceiling,
Yeah,
yes.
just the ceiling.
This
yeah.
is sleeping.
And also there's the side and the end there were shingled as well. All the old shingles were ripped off and put new shingles on and painted since then.
So did it become a place for younger folks, like once they fixed it all up and?
I don't really think so. What do you feel? Do any of your kids go there?
No.
Just
Probably just ended up coming back to the community for the sort of dances and garden parties and stuff.
yeah, it's mostly used by older people. That is
It grown up.
30 and older.
Yeah.
More.
But it's good. It's great to have a place like that you can have community events and
Yeah, it is.
celebrations and
Yeah.
all sorts of things. And it's neat that it's a comfort center too. I didn't think of that, but probably some of them are.
Yeah, it was a lot of work to get that done. Gary was in on that one a lot.
Yeah. And it's still, just to make sure that it's used as a comfort center, to get everything, all the contacts, so that people realize that it's here and,
Right.
the EMS is involved with it now, so they sort of tell us when we need to open.
Oh, fantastic.
And that sort of came about after the hurricane last year.
Yeah.
It was kind of a question mark when you're open, when you should open, when you shouldn't. But now I think it's pretty well ironed out,
Excellent.
and they control it, so that's great.
Who EMO?
Yeah,
Okay.
Do you get funding from them to do that, or no?
no. There was no funding from them.
The funding came from
Well, through grants,
municipal grants.
and stuff like that for the big generator.
Oh, that's good at least.
Various upgrades. That was pretty good, very good. Actually.
Well, thank you guys. This has been really, really informative and fantastic. So, thank you for being part of this.
Well, that's great.
We'll
Thanks
get our
for having us.
bill, we'll get our bill.
Checks in the mail.
There is a house, not too big, not too small. It's made out of wood. There's room for us all. There's food on the table. If you're mindful to share, there's enough for most everything if you're kind and care. There's folks in the city with houses much stronger, made of plastic and steel, that will last that much longer. They had rooms upon rooms, more food than they could eat, and they worked day and night to buy the best for their kids. It was kind of a two-step, round and round they would go, their faces alight in the red and orange glow. They danced away, they danced with no care. The burning house waltz, let's go round once more. It started out small, but it burned through the night. I first saw the squirrels scamper by in their fright. We don't know the cause, no one remembers the swamp, but the heat is been building, and we never did learn. It was kind of a two-step, round and round they would go, their faces alight in the red and orange glow. They danced unaware, they danced with no care. The burning house waltz, let's go round once more. Burn, oh, it burned, a spectacle to light. with a terrible mind. Most everything gone, just a few now remain in the strong, sturdy houses, and they play this refrain. It was kind of a two-step, round and round they would go, their faces alight in the red and orange glow. They danced unaware, they danced with no care. The burning house waltz, let's go